Hello, and welcome back to the Spoiler Cast, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them. Especially not today, since we're talking about an old movie.
Yes.
But before that, I know this might actually ruin our retention, but I just want to mention, if you like the show, you should check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, where you will get additional episodes every week. And there's also exclusive videos, there's commentary tracks, you can actually request movies that we talk about in the show, all that for just $3 a month. Or more if you want to, of course, but $3 is the best tier. So check that out, patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Now, let's get on with the episode. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusty co-host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello.
And I had to double check. Do you know how old this movie is?
It's 55 years this year?
44.
44, sorry.
It's 44 years old. I, for some reason, was like, oh, maybe it's like, I don't know, 30.
Wait, it came out in 78?
9.
9! Damn it, I thought it was 78. Because then it would have been not 50, but 45th celebration.
Yeah, because I was wondering why Filmstaden, the Swedish theater...
Cinema chain,
had a special viewing.
Yeah.
On Alien Day. Which apparently was the 26th.
I guess Alien Day is every year.
Yeah, sure.
And now we just shot our wad. But yeah, we're talking about Alien, the original, the classic, the masterpiece.
Of course.
Yes.
I mean, you saw that in the title already, so.
No, of course. But I mean, yeah. It's one of the forefathers of modern horror, together with The Exorcist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all those movies that revolutionized horror in the 70s.
Yes.
And for my money, this is one of the better ones, but all the ones I just mentioned are one of the better ones.
Exactly.
Yeah. Alien is sacred to me. I've talked about it before on, I don't know if we talked about it on this podcast, but I've talked about it on my channel, my YouTube channel, where you can listen to this podcast, a bunch of times before. And it's usually an example I use for like how you do good horror and not, how you do good storytelling, especially horror storytelling. The whole thing with the less you show the monster, the better, and keep everything wrapped in a mystery and everything, all that. But yeah, this is the first time in a while that we're going to talk about a classic, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But honestly, unless you count Hausu as a classic, but I don't think we do. It's more of a cult classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it felt fitting because we were going to do Beau is Afraid. But then we found out it's 3 fucking hours long, and I was like, I'm not sitting in a theater for 3 hours. I'm done with those kind of movies. I'll watch it when it comes out at home.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ari, but you should.
It's probably fantastic.
Movies. I'm sure it's good.
Jesus Christ.
I've heard both, though. I've heard some people saying it's amazing. Some people really hate it, actually. But I'm guessing those are just Philistines, of course.
Either way, we will definitely find out when we do watch it, and we will 99% sure that we will make an episode on it.
Of course, because I want to see it. I just didn't want to walk in unprepared for a 3-hour movie. So it's like, no, do something else. And luckily, Alien Day came around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did Alien. So we have both seen it before.
Yes.
I have definitely seen it more, though, than you have.
Definitely.
Do you remember the first time you saw it?
No. I was probably too young to watch it, to be honest, so I don't remember.
Me too. Do you remember the last time you saw it?
Well, this week.
Oh, okay,
Today,
sure.
technically. But before that...
Yeah, before that.
I had, like, a year ago, I started watching all of the Alien movies, but I think I watched them in, like, chronological order, so I didn't get to this one for some reason.
Oh, so you, like...
I started with, like, the Prometheus and stuff.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you want to really go chronological, you should start with Alien vs. Predator.
I might have, I don't remember.
Okay, because that is, I don't know if you want to count that as canon, but it is the one that takes place the earliest. Yeah. Because it actually takes place in like 2004 or whatever.
Before, I think it's probably been closer to 10 years since I saw it last.
Yeah, I saw it. It's been a while for me as well. I definitely saw it in like 2020, I think, because of course 20th Century Fox is owned by Disney. So on Disney Plus they have all the Alien movies and they have them all in 4K. And I bought my first I bought my 4K TV. I still have the TV. I was going to say my first 4K. My 4K TV in January 2020. I wanted to see Alien, of course, in 4K. It was amazing, of course.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched it since then. And before that, it had probably been a few years. Yeah, because it's not something you go back to all the time. It's not like a hangout movie. It's something you watch. For specific reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I gotta say, like I said, this was the first time in a while. In over 2 years, and I remember basically every second of it, but it still managed to make me go like, oh gee, like make me react, especially the chest burster scene. I'd forgotten how visceral that scene is.
Yeah.
But that's skipping ahead. Let's go back to how we usually do this. What did you think of Alien?
Watching it again now.
Yeah.
I still love it as much. It's a I was about to say run of the mill, but it's not really a run of the mill. It's a regular horror film though.
Yes.
It's not extravagant or special except for the fact that they have a giant ass alien running around.
Uh-huh.
It's not weird that they're on a spaceship. It works. It's simple in a way, but I love it. But it's different still because no one else has an alien on a spaceship like that. Well, back then, I mean, when I was a kid and saw it the first time. Actually, I don't see that many movies like that today either.
They're maybe not aliens on a spaceship, but there was definitely a lot of, like, alien movies. You just put a guy in a rubber suit and run around the forest.
Yeah. But not on the spaceship and contained like that.
No, sure. That was actually, like, the core idea for Alien was to make a B-tier Roger Corman cheapo horror movie, but actually make it good. That was like the idea they had. That's why they hired what's his name? The writer.
Dan O'Bannon?
Yes, Dan O'Bannon to write it, because he's like a sleazy guy who's written a bunch of those kind of movies. He some movies. I know he wrote and directed Return of the Living Dead, and when he was, which was later after Alien, when he invited I think an actress or they were doing like a casting thing or something in his house, and she walked into his house, and there was like punk rock blasting over the speakers. He had like porno movies running on his TV, and there was like guns everywhere. He's like a super weird guy. Yeah, I know. But he's written some really cool movies, so, you know.
But Alien was like his third movie. Well, no, second, technically.
That he wrote?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
He did Dark Star before that.
Yeah.
And a short called Bloodbath.
And Dark Star is, of course, the blueprint for Alien.
Of course.
That was actually first a student film directed by John Carpenter of The Thing fame and Halloween fame, and then they made it into a feature film, like showed it on festivals. But yeah, that was like the style they were going for. That's also why they hired Dan O'Bannon to write Alien. Like they wanted to do something like dirty, like in space. The truckers in space was also like, it's a big thing people talk about when they talk about aliens. Or Alien, sorry, not aliens. Ugh, Jesus. We're not going to discuss aliens in this episode, but we'll get to that. Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, because that's something I discovered rewatching this time as well. Which, I knew the whole thing, truckers in space, and everything's supposed to look lived in, which they say was actually inspired by Star Wars. The first Star Wars came out a couple of years earlier,
right?
Where everything was like rusty and like, they call Millennium Falcon a piece of junk.
Yeah.
And and sci-fi before that had looked kind of, pristine. Everything was new and shiny.
Shiny.
Like Star Trek, yeah. So that's also an inspiration for this movie. The style of the movie was Star Wars.
Which I really appreciate, because shiny spaceships are so boring.
I mean, I like that style as well, but yeah,
Sure,
this feels a lot more
overused.
realistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought of it before, which is weird, but watching it this time, I realized, like, they never, like, make a big thing of the fact that they're, like, in space. There's not this, the wonders of the universe, and the doodads and gizmos and things. No, it's like a regular movie. This could have just been, like, a freighter ship in the ocean, and there was a sea monster instead of an alien.
Yeah.
The fact that it is in space has very little to do with the actual story, other than the monster is, otherworldly. Alien, yeah, exactly.
And they can decide to try and shoot it out the airlock. That's
of course. I mean, they still use the space setting, but I mean, it's a horror first, sci-fi second.
Yes.
Which I never thought of before, but just watching all the minutia of, like, the first, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie before they walk into the donut ship. It's all like,
wait, donut ship? Yeah.
It's referred to as a donut ship, even though it's not a complete circle. So
no, it's got a bite taken out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a design. I would call it like a horseshoe ship rather.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Either way.
There's so much time spent, like, showing the characters how they're waking up. They're all, everyone's, like, sweaty. They're smoking and drinking coffee, and then, like, they're sitting down at their consoles and they're, like, looking at the map, and it's all very, like, workmanlike.
Yes,
because that's what they do. They tow
their job.
Hundreds and thousands of tons of mineral through space. They're truckers, space truckers. Yeah, so and they really establishing the mood of the movie.
Yeah.
As to really, like, ground it in reality, even though it takes place way in the future and, like, way out into space, and it has some really, like, cosmic horror elements almost with the big ship that's, like, thousands of years old. Even though now, after Prometheus, we know it's not well, I mean, it can still be old, but it didn't crash there thousands of years ago. It crashed there like 100 years ago, if even that.
If even that, yeah.
Yeah, Prometheus ruined a lot of things, even though, yes, some of it is interesting. It mainly just ruined a lot of what makes Alien creepy and scary. But we'll get to that in another episode as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do Aliens.
We're gonna do all the aliens eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, probably during this year sometime. But back to Alien. Where was I? I don't even know.
I'm not sure. We were talking about how this was a different kind of horror film and different kind of space film from the era, I suppose, mostly. Yeah, like
it fits in with the horror of the time. Like it's dirty and it's gritty and it's kind of grounded in reality, so to speak.
It's sort of realistic, I suppose.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jaws, even though I guess that's more of a thriller, maybe not a horror movie.
Sure.
But they use a sci-fi setting. Like I said, it's horror first, sci-fi second, and that's very, very interesting. The second thing that makes it very, very interesting is the choice of director, because this was, even though he was like 40 years old when he made this. This was Ridley Scott's, like, second movie, I think. Before that, he had only done advertisement. He had done, like, some big trailers for, like, Apple and stuff. He made one of their most, like, famous ads for the Apple computer, something.
Yeah, and he did some TV show episodes.
Yeah.
And some shorts, and just this video.
But as director,
this is his first, like, proper director thing.
Yeah, he made The Duelists before this. That was it. Which is also, I haven't seen it, but I've heard, like, it's very, like, his style, because it's a movie about two guys who prepare for a duel, basically, and then the end is the duel. but it's all very like realistic. It's like realistic sword fighting. Because if you look at the movies he's made, he likes, not all of them, but many of them are like, they're like heavy on style and heavy on like, how do you call it? Like he wants to make it feel real. He's not so much focused on the story as he is on making it a world that feels real, like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I famously or infamously, I don't know, hate that movie because I think it's terrible, but you can't deny that it looks amazing.
Exactly.
And that he has really created a world that feels lived in and feels real. Same thing here with Alien. There's so much detail in everything. Like just a scene where Dallas, the captain, played by Tom Skerritt, he has to walk into the mother room that only the captain can go into. Well, I mean, if it's for captain size only, where he gets like the messages from the company. And everything. There's this long sequence of like just showing how he opens up the thing, puts the key card in to open up the other thing, to put in the code to actually get in, because it's for the captain's eyes only. Stuff like that, or the fact that they spend a lot of time before they leave the planet again on trying to fix the ship, like making everything feel lived in, feel real. The story doesn't really kick off. I mean, you could argue that it kicks off when the facehugger attaches itself to Kane, but I mean, the proper story doesn't start until he has the chest burster come out of him.
Yeah.
That's when the alien actually shows up the first time, and that's when they start like being scared. Before that, they're just worried that something's gonna happen to Kane, but they're not worried for their own lives.
Exactly.
I mean, it takes a while, and all that is set up. And after that, it's really just like classic, a monster chasing them, but it's done slowly and meticulously.
It's world building in the best way.
Yes.
They're showing us that there is a big world and this is normal day life in it. But they're not like over explaining it. They're not showing us life back on Earth or like
they focus on
actual
the world
working day.
for the characters that are important to the story.
Exactly.
Yeah. And all that works to really suck you into it, so that when the alien bursts out of John Hurt's chest, you're completely in it.
Yes.
And and everything is then heightened. Like your senses are heightened because you're so immersed in the movie. And like I said, I hadn't seen this in a few years. I was taken aback when the chest bursted, so to speak, or burst, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, and that's where Ridley Scott shines as a director when it comes to details like that. Not so much when it comes to, like, he needs a good script. If it doesn't have a good script, his movie is gonna suck. Like I said, Blade Runner. Or
a lot of it's also though the environment that not only he creates, but the stage that's set, like the literal space they're in. The walls and the art and the costumes.
Yes. It's not the attention to detail in camera, it's also attention to detail behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything, like we said, feels lived in. I mean, I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure, like, almost all of the spaceship sets were connected, so you could actually walk from one part to another. Maybe it didn't make complete geographical sense, but they were all connected, so you never had to leave the set. They could actually walk through the ship, basically. They built big parts of the ship instead of just having rooms on sets. That's another thing that just adds to the reality of it.
Yeah.
So many things like that. But then the most important thing is that we almost never see the monster.
Yes.
Which is, of course, from the beginning is a budgetary thing, or that, a mechanical thing, we didn't have enough money to, make the effects great, or, the suit really doesn't work, so you do everything you can to obscure the, the flaws in it.
Yeah.
But then accidentally, creating this air of mystery around the monster. I mean, I don't think we ever see the full monster except for the very end, when it flies out of the airlock.
That might be true, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we see a lot of it at certain points.
Yes.
But not
we never
full
see the whole
until
thing
it's
walking
outside,
around.
no.
Yeah. And which scene is the most ridiculous? It's the last time we see the whole thing, because it looks ridiculous. It looks silly.
It looks small somehow.
Yes.
It looks like a human flown out into space.
Yeah.
With a large-ass helmet on.
And there is one scene before that, which is also in the escape pod, when it crawls out of the pipes where it was hiding. You can actually see the guy, Bolaji Badejo, I think his name was. He's like struggling to get up. So you're just watching a person get up from, a prone position to standing position, and he's using his hands to like help himself to get up.
Yeah.
And you're just, that's a guy in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes you completely out of it, but that's the only time. Every other time it's just, you just see enough to make it scary. You see the mouth opening, or you see that dome, the dome head thing.
The giant forehead.
Yeah, or you just see the whole thing like out of focus behind Brett, the guy, who gets murdered or eaten or whatever they do with it.
Absorb? I don't know.
Yeah, it's so effectively shot every time. Except for that ending, though. But other than that, yeah. And that's what makes it so good. And the fact that we don't know anything about it. I mean, even when they do they dissect the facehugger and, it's made out of this and this and this. But we don't really know anything. Like how big can it get? Why does it kill people? Does it actually kill them, or does it save them? Does it eat them, or just kill them? We have no idea. They just disappear. And all that's left is blood.
Not even that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like when, what's his name? Japhet Kotto, what's his character's name? Parker? No.
Yeah, isn't it? I have the trivia up. Sorry.
Oh, whatever. Japhet Kotto.
That's Parker. Sorry, yeah.
Parker, yeah. When the alien eats or does something to Dallas in the ventilation system, and they just after the surprise shot, which is also kind of funny.
Yes.
When the alien opens, like, hello, here I am, and they just hard cut to Parker slamming down the flamethrower on the table, and it's like, that's all that was left. No blood, nothing. You're like, what happened? Yeah. It makes it so goddamn scary because you don't know what you're up against.
And at the same time, we have these few moments of seeing this giant monster, but it's making its way through the air ducts, which we can see with Dallas in it isn't that big.
Exactly.
It's weird.
So yeah, you fear what you don't know. Like that's like primordial human instinct. That's a fight or flight thing that we've had since we were like, Cro-Magnons. Like,
yes,
it's a survival instinct. You run away from things you're not sure of because they might kill you, and that's the instinct. That's the core emotion in Alien. I mean, that's why it's called Alien. It's something unknown. The title has several meanings.
Yeah.
It's a literal alien, but it's also something foreign, something alien.
It was apparently supposed to be called Star Beast. Which wouldn't have worked, but then they saw, like, we say alien so much in the script, let's just call it Alien.
Yeah. And it's such a good title.
Such a good title.
For that reason.
It's great.
Yeah. There are really no flaws with it. I mean, except for a few effects shots.
Sure.
Like we mentioned, the alien doll or whatever it is in the end that gets shot out of the shuttlecraft. And then there is the one effect shot where after Ash goes crazy when they find out that Ash is a goddamn robot.
Yeah, he's an android.
Which also, we'll
I had completely forgotten that, by the way.
Oh, so that must have been a fun...
I mean, I realized it as soon as he started, like, sweating what looked like milk. I was like, oh, right, he's a fucking android.
Yeah. But there's a scene where, because they like, they hit him in the head, so his head falls off.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Parker that beats him, yeah. And then they're setting down the head on the table, and it won't really sit up.
Yeah.
And that's a rubber head. And then there is a cut to when it's actually Ian Holmes' head sticking up through the table, of course.
Yeah, and you just see Sigourney Weaver, like, correcting the latex around his neck.
Yeah. And it's funny, because if you listen to the commentary track, I think there's only one commentary track, so it's on the DVD and the Blu-ray and everything. Ridley Scott specifically points that out, because it's like a hard cut from rubber head, nothing like obfuscating the shot or anything. It's just plainly like, here's the rubber head, boop, cut to Ian Holmes' head.
Yeah.
No transition or anything.
No.
And he's like, specifically points that out in the commentary track. He's very proud of that effects shot. And I'm like, no, it's terrible.
I mean, there is this whole, you have Sigourney Weaver's, like, hip sort of slightly in the way of the head. So it looks like,
but you still see it like, boop,
even when it's straight cuts, that's when her hip kind of appears, and then she moves out of the way, and it's a real head. It's not the fake head. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I understand that I mean, I don't think they could have done it much better, and I can sort of see how that is a proud moment for something made in 1979.
No, because you can they already have inserts of both Yaphet Kotto and Sigourney Weaver, like, their faces as they're fixing his head. So just have her fix the rubber head, then cut to her face, like, there we go. Cut back, and it's Ian Holmes' head.
I guess. I thought it was weird when they...
He wanted to be seamless, but it's not. It's not. It's a hard cut.
I did think it was weird when she has to, like, she sets the head up and it falls over and she does it again. I thought they would cut that out. Why would they let her do it a second time?
Yeah.
And then cut. It looked like we failed so many times. Fuck it, we'll just cut it out. And they forgot to cut one of them out.
Yeah, I think that actually, though, I think that's a conscious choice by the director, to kind of have, like, flaws and inconsistencies like that. There's early on, I don't remember. It's when they're talking. I think they've just landed on the planet, and Ash is looking at, or I guess it's a moon. Whatever, doesn't matter. He's looking at the composition of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's almost primordial, blah, 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 and starts talking about what it's made of. And if it's Brett or what's the other girl's name? I don't even remember the actress's name. I'm so bad. What's her name? Lambert. Veronica Cartwright.
Yeah.
Lambert. Yeah. Someone says something, like a little comment, you barely hear it, and Tom Skerritt goes like, yeah, and looks back. I don't think that's in the script. It just feels, because it's such a natural dialogue exchange that you never see that in a script.
There are also moments early in the movie after they've landed on the planet, I think, when the dialogue and the visual does not match up at all. They're saying something. You can see that they're talking, but it doesn't match with what they're actually saying, what the sound is. Because even at one point when it looks like, I think it's Brett, the character Brett, who's like saying something, but you hear Ripley's voice or something. It's very off at one point. It's when the three of them are in the tunnels just with all the steam and stuff.
Yeah. Well, here I'm gonna start complaining about the movie, but not specifically the movie. It's been so long since I saw it on Blu-ray. But at least the Disney 4K streaming version.
Yeah, because that's the one I saw, obviously.
Yeah, and I think that might be on if you buy the physical media streaming version or 4K version as well. They have edited the sound in that scene so that you can hear the dialogue better over the steam. Because the first time I saw it on VHS. Once again, I was way too young. I talk about this in my video about it. I think I was like 8, and for some reason, I was shopping with our mom, grocery shopping, Ica Maxi,
Yeah.
And they had the
big ass supermarket.
Yeah, big ass supermarket. And you had the media section where they had, two VHSs for $6 or whatever. Or two for 99, two for 9, one for 6, whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I saw Alien. I had no idea what Alien was. I wasn't really watching movies at this point in my life. That happened when I was like 10.
Cover
11.
with the egg, right? The green crack.
Yes, but it's
Yes.
like a close up of it. So it's not the cool poster. It's just like half the egg is the poster.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've probably seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably how I saw it the first time as well, on the VHS.
Yeah, I wish I had that tape still. Maybe it's at our parents' house. I don't know.
Might be at our parents' house.
On that VHS, that's probably the closest you would get to the actual like theatrical release of it, because it is one of those where they have poked and prodded at it over the years, like, yeah, remove some grain, fix the audio, blah blah blah, but not as big as like Star Wars, but still. No. But in that scene when she's talking to Brett and Parker, you can barely hear them, and that's why they're screaming in that scene, because the steam is just super loud.
That's the point, though.
Yes, that's the point. That's why they're screaming.
Exactly.
Here in the 4K version, the streaming version, they have isolated the voices and like removed almost all of the steam sound. Yeah. So they're screaming even though the environment is pretty quiet, which is weird. However,
you have the whole what, but it doesn't make sense because you can clearly hear what they're saying.
Yes, and that's kind of funny because a little bit of that original audio is still in there when she says, "Why don't you just fuck off?" and then walks off or starts walking away. If you need me, I'll be on the bridge. And they go like, Ripley, what are you doing? Then you can hear the original audio because their voices are all suddenly much lower in the mix.
Yes.
And then they turn off the steam, and he goes like, son of a bitch. And Brett says, what? And then he turns it on again. Then the steam is super loud for just half a second before they cut. That's how loud the steam is supposed to be. Which, once again, adds that realistic feeling. They actually have to scream over the steam.
Yeah.
But then they ruined it. Yeah. And that's why I think it's that scene you were talking about, right?
Yes, it's that scene.
That's why the dialogue doesn't seem to match up, because they've been in there mixing and, it sounds off. I know, yeah.
Tiny tangent on Disney and their Disney Plus movies. They've changed so many details and so many things. They've even, like, redrawn cartoons to, like, change. There's, in I think it's in Lilo's Stitch, they've changed it from, like, a washing machine to a cabinet with a pizza box when Lilo hides from her sister. Wow. So weird.
Okay. Well, I've only seen that on Disney Plus. I wouldn't have noticed that. For
our
podcast.
Check
out our Lilo and Stitch episode.
There are other things, but that's one of the ones that it keeps coming up on the internet as well, that people are mad about it.
So it's like a Mandela effect, but it's actually real. Both exist.
Yes, because we have both of them.
Oh shit! No, okay.
Like, why are they fucking with it? Why, like in Alien, why did they fuck with the sound? Just leave it at it as is. I think they've even turned up the brightness in certain scenes because you can see way more of the alien than you should. As far as I remember it.
Yeah, that might just be because, the movie was supposed to be shown on a gritty 35mm screen, or 35mm print on a big screen. And everyone talk, technically 35mm has 8K resolution, but you can never get that kind of resolution in the 70s when it was shown.
No.
And even released on home video, it's released on video cassette, which is like sub 460 pixels, if you want to count it digitally. So like, that's something you can notice, when they remaster old stuff. We talked about that recently with the Arrow video release of Hellraiser, where you can like see the cogs and wheels in the monster. We mentioned it in some episode a few weeks ago. Like, it was obscured because like, we can overlight it now because it won't show up on video or when we show it in the cinemas. But now with HDR and 4K, you can see some of the seams. Not all movies are supposed to be experienced that way. And this one is a little bit.
But then they couldn't have done the reversed? Couldn't they have darkened the scene?
They could have. And if you actually care, if you're not just trying to like, we're just redoing it for 4K, but actually taking care to remaster it, then you will actually take care to like make the experience like, yes, we have it, crispier and everything, but it's also still the same experience as when you first saw it. A good example of that is David Lynch's Inland Empire, which was shot in the early 2000s, and he shot on really cheap, shitty digital video because he was so enamored with it. He was like, wait, you can shoot movies on video? You mean I don't have to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars for film stock? I could just film for hours because it costs nothing to buy like high 8 tapes?
Yeah.
So he just shot so much on video for a while. That's why that movie is like 3 hours long. Problem is, it looks terrible, but that like became a thing with that movie. It's supposed to look that way. When it was released on DVD, yeah, it still looked kind of shitty because it's DVD.
Yeah.
You couldn't really do much with it. But then it was released on Blu-ray, and a lot of people were disappointed in the Blu-ray because, yeah, first of all, it's hard to like remaster video. It looks weird.
Yes.
And also they changed the color scheme of the movie.
Why?
Yeah, just to make like pictures clear and everything. They were trying to make it look better. But that's not the point. It's supposed to look like Inland Empire.
Exactly.
So they recently released it on 4K, and the whole trailer is just showing like, this is the old bad Blu-ray, this is the original film, and this is the 4K cut of it. And how they actually, the 4K version, in a way, looks worse than the Blu-ray, but it looks more like the original version of the movie.
It's more true to the original source, yeah.
That's how you have to remaster a movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should have darkened some of the scenes because when the alien is too clear, that's not as, because that's the issue I had this time. It wasn't as scary because I was like, I can see too much of the alien. This isn't right. I shouldn't be able to see all of this because I'm not scared of it when I can see like the entire torso and I'm just about to see like the shining of the head, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ruining the experience, and it bothered me. Nothing against the movie itself. Mostly, it's towards Disney, so fuck them.
And also, as someone who works in and sells electronics, including TVs, that's why it's important to calibrate your TV, people.
Well, I watched it on a monitor, my computer monitor.
Okay, yeah, well, you
but
can't
the shittier one.
The
shittier one, so the lighting is bad on that one.
It's not just some kind of cheap upsell. If the salesman says you should calibrate your TV, that means you should.
Same as you can change settings on TVs. You can use the movie setting instead of the sports setting because you might have different lightings.
Yeah, that too.
And sounds.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know. I just wanted to mention that I feel like Disney fucked it over a bit.
Yeah.
And I have a random question because it's been nagging me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask, is the cat in Marvel, the Marvel movies, the orange cat that is like an alien, is that a reference to Jones, the cat in Alien?
I don't know. Is it called? You're talking about the Captain Marvel cat, right? Or is the cat in war movies?
No. Well, it might be in like a post-credit scene somewhere. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen it in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat that eats Samuel L. Jackson's face.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe?
Because it's an orange cat, and it's a space cat, and it's an alien cat. It just kept bugging me. I don't know why. I just have to ask if you knew it. But you don't
know of it, but that would make sense.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's a space movie, and I mean, they like Easter eggs.
Exactly.
And I mean, at that point, they had bought 20th Century Fox, and maybe just want to put that in there, like, extra rub it in your nose, rub it in your face, I mean. I don't know.
Could also be, I don't know, maybe the cat was in the comic books. I have no clue.
I have no idea, but I'm going to look it up.
Because the cat in general, and I have 2 cats, as you might know by now.
Yes.
I'm both a cat and dog person. I'm not going to say I'm a cat person. But I thought the cat in Alien was fucking stupid to save. Leave the cat. Just
know.
Get on with it. You have
especially
an alien killing people. Just leave it.
When the ship is about to explode, and she's like, "Oh no, Jonesy!" I'm like, no, just leave.
Like I kind of get it specifically when she's alone because it's like it's contact. It's emotional support in a way.
Yeah. But
at the same time, you're like, fuck's sake, just run.
She was almost exploded because she had to go back to get the cat.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a flaw. It does create a lot of tension, but it's tension over a cat.
Yeah, it adds
I
one
don't
kill specifically. It adds like 2 scares, I think, and then the whole tension in the end. But it's a fucking cat.
Yeah.
Can cats even survive cryo? Like,
Yeah, especially since that cryo chamber is just made for one person.
exactly.
Maybe they just both aged a little more than they should have. I don't know.
They didn't sleep as deep.
No, exactly. Just quickly, like, doing a word search for cat in the Captain Marvel trivia. First of all, the cat is called Goose in Captain Marvel.
Right.
And in the comics, Captain Marvel's cat is a thing.
Sure.
It was called Chewie after Chewbacca.
Oh.
And in the movie, it's called Goose after the character Goose from Top Gun.
Oh.
Because they're fighter pilots.
Sure.
So it's
But there's
Rooster's
nothing
dad.
about it being
It's played by 4 different cat actors.
Yeah, I hope so.
But that's not cat. Now it's just.
I mean, it's not very
cat
important, but I was
Catwoman.
just curious.
Aha! Wait. No, sorry. It was said. I said, cat, alien cat. It said, but it said Samuel L. Jackson actually improvised the line "Mother Flurkin" when Nick Fury's eye gets scratched by the alien cat. It's a pun on the actor's favorite word, motherfucker. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. No.
There's no connection there, really.
About it.
Well then.
No.
Never mind my weird tangent about the cat, I suppose.
Yeah, but hey, you noticed it, so that it should have been an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Is there... Where are we in time?
You're 40.
We're 40 minutes in already. Okay, it's pretty good. I don't know what else to say about it. Like,
No,
I was gonna ask, like, is there something you dislike about the movie? But we sort of talked about a couple of
I don't
technical
really.
flaws.
Yeah, I don't really dislike anything except for the fact that watching it now on better screens and with the remastered versions, it's ruining the effects, definitely.
Yes.
But I don't blame the film for that. I blame the future, I suppose.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was looking, because I have my Blu-ray collection of it still, which is a wonderful Blu-ray collection. It has so much extra stuff on there. It's basically the same stuff that was on the Alien Quadrology DVD box, which was cooler looking, but now with better picture. But I did own it on DVD, the like collector's DVD. I had that and the third one, I think. And I would love to watch it on DVD again, just to get that super gritty feeling again. Because even though there is still a lot of like dirt in the picture, and I mean it's not completely cleaned up, but like you said, there's still stuff that like they have cleaned up too much.
Yeah, there's too much light. There's too much. You know what? There's actually one thing that bothers me with the movie. I just realized. Well, it's a tiny thing. It's their fucking outfits, specifically their underwear.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I don't.
Yeah, that's something you can criticize it for. The end where the gratuitous panty shots of Sigourney Weaver.
Like those panties were too small. Like
yeah.
Why was half her ass out? It doesn't make sense. How is that practical for space travel? Spice travel?
It's spice travel. Hey, spice travel. That's what they do in Dune.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
and even like the guys having these like diaper-esque thingies when they wake up.
But that might be
that might be actual diapers.
Yeah,
but then also John Hurt's character when he has been attacked, Kane, when he's been attacked by the facehugger and he wakes up, he looks like he's wearing a fucking corset.
Yeah,
because there's these lacing things, and then there's this lacing on the back of their jumpsuits. It's weird.
Yeah,
their clothes design is very strange.
Little details that like, well, it's a futuristic jumpsuit, so it's more tight fitting in the
and you can adjust it because
section.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's so weird. It's just strange. I guess, like you said, it's style choice, obviously, but the costume department, you went a bit too far with that.
That's another thing, though, that I think, the talking about like how it's very grounded and very normal. The fact that other than those little details, they all just wear regular clothes in space.
Yeah.
Like there's no silver jumpsuits.
No.
Even their like space suits basically look like a regular space suit.
Yeah.
Astronaut suit. Yeah. Just that it has more like blinking lights and it's gray instead of white. That's the only difference. But even the one she wears in the end is almost literally a real spacesuit.
Yeah.
Because it's white, you know. That's
it's the fashion is fashion, the costume.
Yeah.
Costumes are there's a word but I can't think of it. They've matched the vibe because they're just truckers basically.
Yeah.
They all look just like truckers or mechanics.
Yeah.
But then they have these weird lace-up details whenever they put on the jumpsuits. Like,
yeah.
Okay, sure. I mean, she's walking around in, like, Converse.
Yeah, I know. That's so cool. They all have, like, sneakers on.
Yeah. But I think it's Lambert who has, like, a band t-shirt or something at one point.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Or if it's a baseball t-shirt, something
and Brett
like that.
with his trucker hat, Parker with his bandana. It's so, and those are the little details which you, as regular, if you don't, like, look at it with critical eye, you don't notice. But your brain does, and that's why it feels more realistic. Because
that's why it doesn't feel like an alien space movie. It feels like a horror film.
Yeah.
Which we said in the beginning of this.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. It's so smart. And, yeah, a lot of movies haven't really done that after this as well.
Nope.
Like, sure, we've had, like, more realistic sci-fi movies, but not much.
Not like this.
No, this is
We've
so
had a lot
grounded.
of video games.
Yeah.
That are contained space exploration. We also have the shiny ones, of course, but where it's gritty and there's like you're in a ship. I'm thinking of Dead Space specifically.
Yes, I was going to say that specifically Dead Space, which takes a lot of inspiration, of course, from Alien. But then also from another movie, which in turn took its inspiration from Alien, Event Horizon.
Yes,
which is another very like gritty kind of truckers in space kind of movie. Have you seen that one?
Yes. But it's been ages.
Okay, because that's another great one. That's a movie that should have been a classic, but there's just little things in it that prevents it, and also that it bombed in the box office kind of ruined it, so it's more of a cult classic. But I love that movie.
Or am I mixing them up? Event Horizon.
That's the Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne. It's a ship that has, they made Faster Than Light Travel, but it ended up in hell.
Yeah, no, I've seen that one.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Someone or something aboard.
Yeah.
But it's got a Metascore of 35. What the fuck? Okay, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, there are definitely things in that movie that ruins it, but overall, it's a great movie.
Alien's Metascore of 89, though, I can agree with.
Alien.
Yeah, Alien, sorry, but Alien.
Oh, 89. Oh, yes.
I was saying Alien as in Aliens score, not Aliens the movie.
Aliens, yeah. Yeah. I have given this I have on Letterboxd as well. It's one of those I just gave a score without watching it. But yeah, it's a perfect 10 for me. I guess it's technically a 9 because there are flaws in it, and really there really aren't any 10 out of 10s. I mean, there are. Because there are no perfect movies, but this is as close as you can get.
I'm very liberal with my 10 out of 10s, so I could give this a 10 out of 10. Literally.
I mean, I've given out plenty of 10 out of 10s, but I mean, there aren't really no perfect movies. But this is as close as you can get, I would say. This, together with, I mentioned it, Exorcist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's about as close as you can get to perfect as a movie. And there are other ones as well. Recently, we had The Northman. I would say that is as close as you can get to a perfect movie. At least
I have in since we started. Since I started my Letterboxd, which is like, what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
Maybe, yeah.
I have 9 5-stars already, so...
Yeah.
And all of them are more or less new movies.
Didn't you give The Lost City a 5 out of 5?
Yes,
sorry,
it's 5 out of 5
that's
for me.
ridiculous, Rick.
But I did also give Maverick a 5 out of 5.
That's true.
Kid
that is
Detective,
5 out of 5,
Last Night in Soho.
Okay, so a lot of movies I give like 4 and 4.5, so you actually go 5. Okay.
Yeah, because Yeah. So I would probably give this a 5 out of 5, actually, because the more I think about it, I love the setting so much.
Yeah.
It elevates everything, because horror films in general are fantastic. They're interesting enough. I love the whole space stuff as well, but then having it a contained space, but you're still in space.
Yeah.
So you're it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's Halloween in space.
But contained to, like, 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Not an entire town.
But
and just the thought of just outside of that ship. However, the ship is ginormous, but they're not on all of it.
No, because the big ship you see in the beginning, the Nostromo, most of that is just
cargo, right?
Cargo, yeah. The thing they land with on the planet, that's the only thing they really walk around in the action, in the movie.
Yeah. It's like a detachable piece, and then when Ridley detaches another piece, she detaches a smaller piece as well.
Yeah, that's the
smaller
little escape shuttle, yeah. That's the one that Dallas is sitting in when he's listening to music. When Ash calls him and says, "You better come check up on Kane," and when the chest part, or the facehugger is released. Yeah, the rest is just containers full of ore, or whatever it is that they're hauling through space.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they wouldn't go in there, because there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's no point in doing that. They don't even have to, like, secure the cargo, because they've already done that, obviously. It's secured enough for space travel, for them sleeping for however long.
Yeah.
So why would they need to check it when they wake up?
No, yeah. It's kind of funny. We've been talking for almost an hour now. Do you know what we haven't really discussed much?
No.
We talked about costumes and everything. We haven't talked about the alien that much.
Oh, but it's because the alien is just scary. That's it. It's just there to be scary.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more like the design of the alien.
Oh, but the design is fantastic. Oh.
Yes.
H.R. Geiger, right?
H.R. Geiger, I suppose.
Beautiful.
Genius.
But there's, like, one difference to his original design, if I don't remember it incorrectly. Like, he had eyes or something attached to it.
There might have been some of that. I know they approached him to do some, like, rework the design for Alien 3, where they're like, we wanted like a different kind of alien, one that has gestated in an animal, and maybe make it like a little bit bigger. Maybe not a queen, but something bigger than the regular alien.
Right.
And he went nuts, and he went for this, like, it was supposed to be like because his imagery is very like it's horror and erotica at the same time. It's a lot of, like, phallic symbols, and there's a lot of, like, sex in it, like,
hence the fucking head.
Yes, that too. Yeah, but then it's mixed with, like, all this wires and tubes and flesh. It's this this corruption of humanity, and then adding, like, a sexual element to it just to confuse you even further. It's amazing. And then he got, like, free reins to design the monster. They went to this crazy Austrian guy who at an art showing, when they were, like, talking to him about designing it, asked, like, "Hey, would you like some opium?" They're like, no, thank you. Why do you take that?" "Oh, because my creations scare me." Like, you don't let a guy like that design your Hollywood movie monster.
Well, if you want the monster to scare people,
yeah, and that's why it's one of the best, like, monster movie monsters of all time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, it is probably the best monster ever. I cannot think of a better Hollywood monster. Design-wise, yes, design-wise.
I would say my favorite movie monster is probably, just in general, I think it's probably the original Godzilla. That's just because of what it represents and how big it is and everything.
Yeah.
Like, design-wise?
But design-wise, oh my god.
Xenomorph,
the alien,
Xenomorph. Yes.
When does the name Xenomorph appear? Because it's not in the first one.
No. That's kind of funny, because a lot of the more, like, expanded lore about the alien and the name, the Xenomorph and everything like that, the fact that we know that it actually, like, collects humans and doesn't just kill them.
Oh, right.
A lot of it comes from the sequel, Aliens.
Right.
Because, yeah, that movie is terrible. And I know that's a very unpopular opinion. I think that movie is absolutely terrible. It ruins what makes the first one scary. First of all, because it's not scary; it's an action movie.
Yes.
And it reduces this super scary, like I said, cosmically horror monster down to just like cannon fodder, because they have like hundreds of them, and the Marines just mow them down with their pulse rifles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but even if like even one of those should be a formidable foe, even if you have a gun. I get it that they're like trained soldiers and everything, but they shouldn't just be mowing them down like they're like
cattle.
Yeah. Like they're the CGI goons from a Marvel movie. That's basically what they are in the Aliens movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And I hate that. And it also adds a lot of stuff. Like, the Queen. I never liked the Queen.
But you're getting ahead of yourself. We're talking about this in another episode.
Sorry.
I want to go back to the fact you mentioned that H.R. Geiger's design is very sexual.
Yeah.
Do you know how when they were talking about, apparently, according to trivia here, during early development, when they were talking about how the alien would get on board the ship, Shusett? I don't know how you say that last name. Shusett came up with the idea that the alien fucks one of them. Which developed into the facehugger, which it practically does.
That's basically it. I mean, it deep throats him.
Yeah.
And shoots its seed down his throat.
Yeah. And then dies.
And then this little penis thing comes out of his chest. Yeah. It's all very, like I said, very phallic, very sexual.
Yeah.
Just to further confuse you and go like, ooh, this is super disgusting, but also kind of turned on. Which adds to the uneasiness of everything.
The method of reproduction via implantation was deliberately intended to invoke images of male rape and impregnation.
Yeah.
So both writers were adamant on that the facehugger victim would be a man, because they wanted to like avoid the cliche of women being assaulted, of course, and then also because they wanted to make the males feel yucky
extra icky.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it helps that it's even further strengthens the female role in this, because Sigourney Weaver is the ultimate hero in the end.
Yeah, that's also something that's very interesting. This is why we should structure our conversations, because we should have talked about this before. But also, no, it's just a candid conversation.
Yes. When
the movie starts, you have no idea who's the actual like star. No idea. First of all, none of them were like. Well, I mean, you had several established actors. Like, Yaphet Kotto had been in big movies before this. He was a fucking Bond villain before this.
Oh.
In Live and Let Die, like a couple of years earlier or something. And of course you had Tom Skerritt and everything. But none of them were like big Hollywood superstars. I mean, Sigourney Weaver had mainly done stage work before this.
Apparently it was between her and Meryl Streep to play Ridley.
Yeah. And then they went with a less known actress, because Meryl Streep had been in Deer Hunter and stuff before this.
Oh yeah.
So when the movie starts, you're like, you can't immediately say, look, there's the A-list celebrity. That's who's gonna survive.
Exactly.
You're looking at everyone and like, so maybe it's the captain then, because he's the captain, and I mean I guess he's the most, quote unquote
manly man,
alpha. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then he's the second guy to die. And then you're like, okay, so who's going to survive this? Once again, adds to that, like, we don't know.
They do establish...
We don't have John Wayne in the movie. We know he's going to survive the whole movie,
They establish a tiny bit of, like, at least... okay, so she's going to be our main because she is now in charge.
Sure.
Because she's third in command.
But, I mean, they still killed the guy who was first in command, so...
Sure. No, yeah, that's true. They kill the second in command first, and then they kill the first in command.
For a while, it feels... I mean, when you've watched it as much as I have, you definitely can tell that, they give Sigourney Weaver more of the good scenes, and Veronica Cartwright doesn't have as much dialogue as she does.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. I mean...
it's obvious when you look at it specifically for that.
But the first time you watch it, you have no idea. If you don't know if you don't know, which you didn't, if you watched it back in the 70s, you don't know who Ellen Ripley is, because she's not a cult favorite yet from all the other movies. Like, she's just Ripley from Alien. What?
Yeah, no, sorry.
No, you looked at me and sounds crazy. You're like, huh?
I looked behind myself.
Oh, okay.
Through the camera.
Yeah. So that's also something that's such a. Once again, it adds to us not being sure of anything in this movie. Like,
Ripley
we have
must
no idea
also
who's going to
be-
survive.
She must also be like one of the first, like, female heroes like this. The first one I can think of. Wait, when was Terminator?
That was 84, so that's after.
Right,
this.
so that's after. Because the two like big ones, older ones that I can think of is Ripley and Connor. What's her name?
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor.
Yeah. But
They're like
you had
the
Laurie
badass women I can think of.
You had Laurie Strode before that in Halloween.
But she's not a hero in that sense.
Just more of a survivor. But
Yeah.
I mean, Ripley isn't much of a hero in this one. She's mainly just running away. She becomes a badass hero in the second one because she's an action.
Yeah,
lady
that's
now.
true. That's true. Maybe that's why I'm thinking of her that way.
Yeah, that's what you see. The fucking Aliens movie. It infects everything. It ruins everything. We'll get to
Before
that.
we did this episode, I asked you. You asked me if I'd seen the movies, and I was like, "Yeah, I've seen them, but I do get them mixed up because there's the one with the girl and there's the one with the cat."
Yeah.
You're like, yeah,
And I don't know if
different
you knew,
movies.
I don't know if you knew what I thought of it before this, but now I guess I kind of ruined it because, yeah, I want you to watch it to see what you think of it, so I can either go, yes, that's good, Rebecca, or I can say, no, you're wrong.
as a segue into the next episode, which will definitely be about aliens.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I remember enjoying it, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in over 10 years, so
Yeah.
we'll
and
see.
I can't really disparage anyone for liking it because, except for it ruining the thing about Alien, ruining the original, it's a competently made and very entertaining action movie. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that it's at the cost of ruining one of the best horror movies ever made. That's the thing.
But
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Sorry.
Because maybe when we're talking about it, we can dissect.
Yes, let's.
So I think we should leave it at that.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we could keep talking.
get back to...
Even though this is a good movie, which usually makes it hard for us to talk about it,
Yeah.
I could go on about this. But yeah, we should
Sure.
leave it at that. It's been an hour, sort of. And yeah.
We're segueing this episode into the Patreon episode, so please check out the Patreon episode.
Yes. Is that going to be
Movie.
Aliens?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're doing that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to listen to me mainly shitting on one of the most beloved movies of all time, Aliens, check us out on patreon.com/don't make a scene. Because I can literally just hate on everything in that movie.
Well,
So check that
we'll
out.
see how the discussion goes.
Yeah, but other than that, thank you so much for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, please rank all the Alien movies. That includes Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and the AVP movies.
In the comments, you mean?
In the comments, yes. If you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a comment with your ranking of all the Alien movies. Other than that, check us out on Twitter at
Underscore?
damn it, _ spoiler
Spoilercast.
the Spoilercast. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
I can't speak.
I mean, if you're listening this to any other platform than YouTube, you can just tweet us your ranking, obviously.
Exactly, I was going to say on Twitter, yeah. Or if you're a patron, patreon.com/don't make a scene, leave your ranking there. We want to see rankings because we're going to do, in the future at least, we're going to do a ranking of all the movies.
And if you're not on Twitter like me, you can rank it on the Insta post.
Yes. At the Spoilercaster as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Awesome,
at
we've
the
plugged all of it.
Spoilercast _ on Twitter.
Right.
There is a link tree. Everything
Everywhere.
Yeah. So check us out there. And once again, thank you so much for listening. And yeah, keep a lookout for the next episode. Next free episode, then I guess it's going to be number 3.
Might be.
Yeah.
We do have some other things in the pipeline.
Oh, that's true. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias and Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. I also want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Mom, Dad, Laura Kinney, Danny Del Gaiso, and Mac and Mom.